Talking back with Matt today. Happy April Fool's Day. I believe it's April Fool's. Hopefully no tricks have been played on you today. But to remind you guys, this is not actually a day you have to be worried about being fooled. As we know, the probability of getting fooled on April Fool's Day is very small compared to that of Election Day. If you fell for the two-party oligarchy, the two-party duopoly. We're anti-duopoly here on the homeless left. So if you happen to fall for it, we're sorry. Our condolences to you, but don't worry, you won't get fooled. You fooled me once. Shame on you. You fooled me. You can't get fooled again. So don't worry, guys. You're safe today on April Fool's. Okay, let's get to some of your guys' feedback. Here we go. Thank you for this. Diaz Tanks, is he doing good besides bringing attention to issues they don't plan to change? And I believe this is in reference to RFK Jr. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this might be a reference to Bernie. It's one of the two. But it's funny because we did a back-to-back story today on Bernie, and then we brought in Jay Scott, and we did a story on RFK Jr., and they're both very similar. So it's easy. Some of the feedback is you can interchange on either of them. They both have this kind of persona of challenging the system. They say the right things, but when it comes down to it, are we actually getting anything done? And then this is a follow-up. He's obviously compromised. Again, I could apply that to either of them, Bernie or RFK Jr. Thanks for your engagement today. Oh, I got this from longtime listener Matt. You got to get that clip on standby from the end of Hot Fuzz where they talk about the greater good, or get it as a soundbite. That's a good idea. I'm going to look that up, and I promise, I take a mental note on this one. I'm going to get that happening on Thursday's show. We're going to be talking some greater good. We got to talk greater good, guys. It's the only way you can justify evil, horrible, nefarious behavior. And when you celebrate that nefarious behavior, the only way you can justify it is to say it's for the greater good. So that's a good clip idea. Thank you so much, longtime listener. I'll get that queued up for the next show. And yes, and then following that up, yes, the reference to the Titanic song saying that if the ship is failing and it's going down, we might as well have some humility and some just. Do you have any integrity? Are you gonna go down kicking and screaming, or are you gonna play a nice song? It's the song of the American Empire will be Real American. As Hulk Hogan gorges himself on Big Macs. That's funny. Of course. And they love Big Mac. All the Make America Healthy Again people love the Big Macs, including RFK Jr. and Donald Trump. They love themselves a Big Mac. But yeah, let's have some integrity, guys. Let's have some integrity. Pamela Drew, thanks for this. Joyfulness is sunshine for the soul. It's fab to share some glow. Oh, certainly. It is sunshine for the soul. So we love it when the Democratic Party feeds us joy. We love our joy. It is pure, organic. When they tell us it's time to feel it, it's very organic. I thought of it myself. I woke up in joy, woke up in a state of joy. It's sunshine for the soul. Thank you so much, Pamela. Diaz Tanks, it's the AIDS spike giving everyone AIDS. Can you believe the guy discussed in Dallas Buyers Club is still pushing it? Diaz Tanks, I don't know if you mean the guy in Dallas Buyers Club as the actor, Matthew McConaughey, who got the Academy Award, or the character of Fauci, who doesn't necessarily appear in the film, but he is the pusher of the AZT, which killed a whole bunch of people. And yes, he is still pushing. It's funny, the AIDS spike was in the AZT. That's the thing. So that's why it killed everyone. So he's putting the AIDS spike in the COVID jab. Oh my God. It's so bad. It's so twisted, guys. It's so twisted. It's so twisted. The SV40 was put into the COVID jab on purpose, from what I hear. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying other people are saying it. And it's pretty wild that so many people are saying it. And then Pamela Drew, contamination was known as part of the process that skipped the purification step used to make biologics, always a lobotomy level crime. to transfect people. I know you've talked about this before, Pamela, the transfection of COVID, and it's not something talked about so much with even the people in the medical, the health and freedom movement, the medical freedom movement. They don't talk about that, so I do appreciate you pointing that out. We had Jungle Jared chiming in about our conversation with MIKKI Willis, which was great. We had a great conversation. Jungle Jared says, great question. The team analogy to movie making. And of course, what I was doing in that moment was pointing out, even though MIKKI was saying, hey, it takes a long time for RFK, the MAHA movement, it takes them a long time to get anything done. And I was just merely saying, just like he pointed out about his film, Follow the Silence, which took 4 years to get done. Isn't that funny? 4 years. It's like the same as a term. A full term is 4 years. He took 4 years to make his film. I was merely pointing out the fact that it's not about the thing taking 4 years to get done. It's that first step. What's the first step of making a film? It's the first step of the MAHA movement getting into office. It's the team you bring together to start the process. Your team members have to be top notch. They have to be solid. And if they're not solid, if they can't do their job well for whatever reason, on purpose, or they're just bad at it, your product is going to suffer. Your film is going to suffer. It's the most important part as a filmmaker, getting the right team members on point. It also should be the most important part of building a team, which Trump does in the first 60 days, whatever, and plus, and RFK Jr., head of the Health and Human Services, it's essential that he gets the right team. But MIKKI explained, in his defense, he explained that it's a negotiation process. You might have to pretend to have somebody else there just to show them, throw them a bone, but you're going to get something else done. And we get it. That's called politics. And you know what? Overall, I think the game of politics is it's not good. It doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. The game of politics never ends well for the little guy. So if you want to take on Goliath, if you really want to be David and take on Goliath, I think you got to do it outside of the system. Inside the system, you're going to get captured. You're going to do a bad job. Or in this case, you're going to be forced to put the wrong people in at the wrong jobs. Thank you for that. And yes, Jungle Jer, I gave credit to MIKKI for pointing out the part about the politics. It was a great answer. And we can all, I don't even say we're agreeing to disagree. I'm just saying it's good that we're talking about it, because there's multiple levels to this thing. So it's good to talk about it in depth. So we appreciate that. Airwaves, I'm so glad you wrote this in. I was unable to interrupt at the time. Well, I could have. I admit I could have interrupted him when he said this line. I'm glad we can talk about it now. It's a strange take. We know that MIKKI Willis worked directly with Bernie Sanders. We were in the street with Bernie. He was directly in the campaign, like directly. So his take, he just got a bad take. I think it's an honest take. I think he's very honest in his assessment. It's just the wrong take. It's not correct. And if I were to have had time to push back, I would have said this. And I've said this before, because he's been on the show before, and he champions this story about working for Bernie and then realizing the truth is that Bernie ended up being a rat. He used to call, I don't think he said it today on the show, but he said Bernie ended up being a radical commie, or radical leftist. Today he called him a communist, whatever you want to call it. It's that term radical. And he didn't see it. And now he knows. And the appropriate comeback to that, the follow-up question is, which I couldn't say today, I'll say it now. And it's kind of rhetorical, because we know the answer to this question. If the game plan of the Democrats was communism, as he thinks fascism is communism, it's corporations and government merging together. It's corporatism. That's fascism. So this fear of commies, fear of socialism, the appropriate response is, if that was the intention of the establishment to move us into communism territory, why would they get rid of Bernie? Why? Why not embrace him if that was the game plan? So if you're so afraid of communism, then you should be happy that the Dems pushed him out, because it was too far left. So then my next question would be, what is your what is your current assessment of the Democratic Party? Since they did get rid of the communist radical, and AOC is not in a position of real power, and the squad has come apart, and all the people you think are communists, which they're not, but if we're going with the fact that they are, then shouldn't you be more impressed with the Democratic Party and where they are? Where do you think the Democratic Party is right now? Where do you think they are? Well, the answer might surprise you. And I say this, not you guys watching, but Mickey and people that think like this. And I understand, again, I get it. It's an honest take. It's the wrong take. Where the Democratic Party is exactly where the Republican Party is. Neocon, neolib, warmongering shit libs. That's what they are. Bernie Sanders is no different than Nancy Pelosi. And by the way, he's no different than a Joe Biden. Exactly the same. Pushing him out was theater. That's what it was. Pretending he's too far left is the game plan of the Democratic Party. So they can pretend to be central and open, and our arms are out, and we're moderate, and we a little bit of the AOC and Bernie, but we want to also reach our hands across the aisle. They're all in the same aisle. That's the point. They're all psychopath, warmongering neocons. All of them. That's what it is. So you don't have to worry about communism. Not going to come get you. Not coming for you. You might want to look more into it too and figure out what about communism scares capitalists so much. Why do we have to go around and police the world and take down any communist government we find, any socialist government we find? Why do we have to completely sabotage it and murder a democratically elected leader who implements socialism or communism? Why don't we just let it fail on its own? If it's so bad, we should let it fail on its own. Another question you can't really answer. Again, I'm not here promoting communism. I'm only merely trying to show you how to properly assess what happened with Bernie Sanders and how the neocons that are the shit lib Dems, the establishment Dems, the establishment Republicans, and as Trump's team is showing us every day, they're all a bunch of neocon psychopath warmongers. And yes, good point, Airways. Elon Musk is not a self-made billionaire. Neither is Bezos. Thank you for that. Also good. Thank you for pointing this out, Jungle Jared. The over-optimism of bad guy flips and becomes good, which is what Mickey was saying is what we're hoping on. We're hoping that the bad guys in Trump's administration flip and become good. And Jungle Jared says, in politics, it's almost always the other way around. Thank you for that. And another good point, Airways. Musk restored free speech on Twitter. Jared and Elizabeth Beck are still banned from Twitter. FFS, Garland Nixon, and others are unverifiable on prepaid Twitter accounts. Great point. This is the stuff Mickey's not aware of. He's not. And I wish I did have more time and allowed more time to maybe interrupt and push back on these points, because we know Garland Nixon very well. I go on a show every week. We talk about this, the ban. So no, it's not about, it's this, I think it's the sentiment, the Santa Claus sentiment, the Elon Musk Santa Claus sentiment that he's come, Santa Claus has come to town and he's giving us all of our goodies for good little boys and girls. And it's frankly not the case. And then you go on, Airways, to say Trump is not a genius businessman either. Holy shit, please stay in your lane. Talk about your documentary. And that's why we did that. We went back, we talked about the documentary, because that, as a filmmaker, fellow filmmaker, that's important. And he is getting something amazingly done in that lane. And we appreciate him for that. These other conversations, maybe they're ongoing. They're we have to kind of plant seeds. And I have had this, just to be clear, I have had this discussion about Bernie and his bad take on communism on a past show. He was on a past show. We had that discussion. So this discussion, maybe the next time he comes on, we can talk more about, as Airways says, it's not really in, Airways says it's not in his lane, but if he does veer out of his lane again, we can talk about what's really going on Twitter, what's really going on in the two-party duopoly, which are all a bunch of warmongers, and maybe we'll bring up Israel too, since I don't think Mickey likes talking about. I don't think Mickey likes talking about Israel. A lot of these health and freedom movement people don't like talking about Israel for some reason. I don't know why. They just don't like talking about Israel. guys believes. Thank you for this. Yeah, it's hilarious. Bernie's a communist. Elon gave us back our free speech. Yeah, exactly. But yes, Jungle Jared, can't wait to see it. You know what? I can't wait to see it again. I can't wait to share it. It's so effing good. It's really Follow the Silenced. It's so good. The filmmakers don't have to be an expert in Trump and Bernie, and censorship on Twitter and Elon, and all the war stuff and Israel. They don't have to be an expert in any of those. And they can certainly have bad takes that I think are coming from an honest place, that they just got bad takes. But they can make an exceptional film about the capture of the big pharma and the many vaccine-injured people that haven't been heard and haven't had justice and need to have those things. And a filmmaker can do that with a film. If they can pull it off, like MIKKI WILLIS pulled it off, then, more power to you. Hell yeah. I'm there. I'm there, every time, front row. So I can't wait for you guys to see the film either. On to the discussion about Hollywood. Yes, Jokers for you. Thanks for tuning in today. Content will no longer have opening, closing credits because every name will be the same. The AI, that is funny. It reminds us of the short films we make. You guys have seen student films and short films where there's no budget, and one guy does everything, and you see that the name shows up as edited by John Smith. Produced by John Smith, casting by John Smith. Produced by everything, written by John Smith, directed by John Smith, and then you get to the acting, starring John Smith, and you're like, holy shit, this is what you call a real shoestring budget when one guy's doing everything. But in this case, the studios will have the one credit not because they're broke, it's because they fired everyone, and they put the remaining money in their own pockets. So that's it. Maybe they'll make up fake names of AI people that don't exist. Maybe they'll do that. We'll say starring Simone. Yeah, that's who will be credited in the feature films coming out of Hollywood for sure. And yeah, Jokers for you goes on with the ruling class is mostly right-wing ideologically, will use AI to replace most left-wing labor jobs, and this will put huge pressure to push everyone to the right. Good analysis. I do not, I do not disagree with that. That's a good analysis. Thanks, Jokers, for you. And then Jamie, Cheese Slice, Fauci was the villain in Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, I don't know if he went on, if his character was shown other than I gotta refresh myself on that. But he absolutely was the villain. Yes. Thank you for that, Jamie. And then yeah, no, and this is also good. Thank you, Jamie. Mickey isn't wrong that a lot of academic Marxists were working on it. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, he's not making that up. When he saw all the different symbols and on the campaign, but these aren't. Look, the point is, I'm just saying he got the analysis a little off because he saw all this. He's standing right there. He saw everybody with the the PSA stuff and Marxist stuff, and it's like, okay, so you had people on the campaign like that, but Bernie himself was never that. He was never that. It was never going to be that. It was never going to be that. And more importantly, the Democratic Party was never going to be that. So all of this fascism we talk about, all this corporate capture, all this corporatism we're living through, right? We're living through this shit, guys. None of it is based on those ideologies. None of it is. Because they abandoned that ideology. They abandoned Bernie's, and it was all theater, but they told us, F you, get out of here. We need to go more centrist, more moderate, more Joe Biden-y, more Kamala-y. So it's just not it's just not a thing. And yes, and we'll have him back on, Jamie. I know you mentioned you want to have the convo with him. We'll have him back on. I think we had a good time. I think he enjoyed it too, and I think we'll continue the conversation in the future. We'll end on this note. The Bernie campaign was a left-wing coalition. It had all types of leftists, and we got played by the neoliberal Democrats. Well said, Jamie, Cheese Slice. And that should pretty much do it for Talking Back with Matt.